paper has this slide on it as opposed to the other one. So
Okay.
presenting it here tonight, we'll just make sure this is the correct one that's on the
Board
board docs.
Board docs,
Yep.
okay,
So
sorry,
that's
there
fine.
doesn't match.
Does anyone have a question I can answer or try to answer, or our team can answer?
Not a question, but I was thinking, is it correct that our kindergartners are the class of 2035? Is that, I did a little like chart here, so 2035, right? So that.
We can't imagine what that will be, right? What's 2035 gonna
And I
be?
think that's it, right? Like, I love that the assessments is going to like the ways in which our students will need to engage with each other, engage with the material, like communicate and share and demonstrate, because none of it says, oh, like, there's gonna be these 3 options available to you and you need to fit into one of those. It's just so much more open-ended, using information, communicating, collaborating, that I think will stand these class of 2035 kids well, that we're thinking now of, just the open-ended possibilities that they will have, jobs and careers that we can't even yet imagine, that from the community, parents and guardians, teachers, and the kids themselves hearing, the ways in which they want to demonstrate mastery and confidence with the material, sounds like, we'll be preparing them for who knows what they conjure up.
It's actually interesting, if I can just interject, that we wondered at the beginning of this process if we would just discover there's some magic process that we'll just all adopt, like we'll all do design thinking, or we'll all do project-based learning, right? And what we heard from the teachers who were doing the research and doing the learning and having the conversations was just as voice and choice is important for our students, it's important for each subject. It's important for the teachers. It's better to have sort of a list of competencies and say, okay, well in first grade that can look like this, and in second grade that can look like this. So that's the goal. And that's why we didn't land on one specific thing, which then may be outdated in 5 years. It's more about sort of what are the skills that are needed now.
So within each one of the curriculum audit cycles, the assessments will almost come from a menu of this.
Exactly, and it'll sort of, be a part of the curriculum document to say, yes, these are the common assessments, and, sort of check off which kinds of skills are required for these assessments, and they meet the modern definition in these ways.
So similarly to what I said earlier, just thank you for all the work you're doing, because I know, again, it's above and beyond what you were required to do, and I just really appreciate the time of all of these different focus groups to gather this information. I have one just basic question. I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but I thought it might be worth it if someone does it. What are exit tickets?
It's just like a quick assessment that, an exit ticket would just be a quick 1 question, 2 question, type of question that a student would answer before they walk out the door.
So like at the end of a lesson period, just to
Yeah.
see if they grasped the concept.
Exactly.
That's what I thought.
Right,
I wanted to
exactly,
make sure.
like this week, the exit ticket from my room was, can you match the coin to the value?
Yeah.
Right, did you get the idea of the 3 lessons we did this week?
Thank you.
Do you do entry tickets too? Do you do entry tickets? Do we do entry tickets?
Almost like a pre.
Yeah,
Like background hour.
Yeah, or just how much did you remember from the last time we talked about this to like get
We do
like.
anticipatory, a lot of anticipatory stuff.
It's being anticipatory sets, and then in the math program, they have application problems, and that usually is a bridge from the previous lesson to the current lesson and fluency practice. So you kind of get just a very, very quick sense of what kind of prior knowledge they have coming in, or how much they've retained from the day before.
Were there any surprises?
I don't think I was surprised, but I was validated that writing seemed to be at the root of very much of this. Because as we're about to enter this ELA audit, I know Ms. Saxon knows I've been struggling with what's this gonna look like in English language arts. It's easier maybe to do a project or a lab in science or a project in social studies, but in an elementary ELA classroom, what might that look like? And it seems like there's that all of our stakeholder groups were saying that writing was an important piece to them, where they could demonstrate their knowledge through writing. And so that might be writing to prepare to do something like an infographic or a podcast or a, slideshow, but that there was writing behind it all. And so I was sort of validated to hear that. I was like, okay, that fits for ELA.
And all these things, there was nothing strikingly new. We've been hearing these same lists of skills and approaches for a long time. One thing that's struck me, it's nice to have it presented in this fashion and to put that framework on the rest of the work that we do. But when I look at the slide that had the assessment at Haverford, the characteristics of the 4 categories, and I think of what we're doing in our schools this month, which is Keystone exams, PSSAs, AP exams. It's a totally different approach to things, and I just wonder how much longer we're going to keep doing those kinds of assessments that impact us so heavily. As I take my glide path towards December, when I'm not going to be a school board member any longer, I've not been a fan of standardized tests for 24 years. And I'm still not. I understand there's a role for them, but I think so much of what we do has been determined by people on committees in Washington and Harrisburg. And I've always felt that our teachers and our administrators should be empowered. I respect them as professionals, and I've